It's Metro Manila's first weekend under the new alert level system, and more customers are expected to flock to malls and restaurants starting today. But the Trade Department notes that the percentage of establishments that have reopened is still small because of the limited capacity allowed. With vaccination still in full speed, a group of restaurant owners is seeing a better outlook for the fourth quarter. Amid easing restrictions, 57 areas in NCR have been placed under granular lockdown. Meanwhile, foreign health experts believe the onset of the flu season will complicate COVID treatment efforts. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know to jumpstart your weekend. I'm Riza Diaz. More people have started to go out as Metro Manila shifts to alert level system. But business owners are hoping that the government will allow more capacity in the coming weeks.
A day after easing restrictions due to the alert level 4 status placed under Metro Manila, people wasted no time flocking malls. Case in point, this mall in Quezon City.
Kampante kami na medyo safe kasi fully vaccinated yung makakahalubilo namin. Pero kailangan pa rin mag-ingat, doble ingat pa rin po.
Restaurant owners hope more customers will come in soon. Under level 4, food establishments are allowed to operate at a limited capacity for their dine-in services, and a vaccination card has to be presented. This restaurant used to accommodate up to 120 seating customers, but it's been limited to 12 at a time.
Alam naman din po ng mga ibang customers yung guidelines po na kailangan nila i-present yung vaccine card before dining in po. And then yung mga wala pa pong full dose or kahit walang vaccine pa po, ina-assist namin sila sa alfresco area po namin.
Salon owners like Daniela welcome the shift, opting to make adjustments. Her many outdoor salon has all the equipment for hair services.
Set up na lang ako para at least kung meron man, hindi ko mapapapasok sa salon since hindi siya vaccinated. Sa labas talaga kami.
This salon in Timog, Quezon City is also preparing its outdoor services, tents were placed for haircuts, manicure, pedicure, and foot spa. Air coolers will also be installed for comfort. Outdoor services will only be available from 6 to 9 a.m. and 4 to 9 p.m. to avoid direct sunlight exposure. While salon owners and employees welcome this development, they hope that restrictions will be eased soon.
Sana naman medyo luwag-luwagan ng konti. Siguro kahit mga 50% pwede ito.
Ano magkaroon ng mas malinaw na guidelines? Kung pwede yung outdoor, why not pwede na lang open door? Kasi at least yung air nagsisirculate din within the salon.
For News 5, JC Cosico, VR1 News.
The Trade Department says only a small percentage of businesses have reopened as NCR transitioned to alert level 4. Trade Undersecretary Ireneo Vismonte said that only around 150,000 to 200,000 businesses have reopened since the implementation of Alert Level 4 in NCR. Vismonte noted that this is because not all businesses can operate on al fresco for a larger capacity due to limitations.
Hindi pa rin po ganun kalaki, no? Dahil alam po naman natin na 10% maliit lang po talaga yan. At 30% na al fresco. Yung al fresco nga po ay hindi naman po lahat ay merong al fresco. Dahil nabanggit nyo nga, yung mga nasa mall, hindi pa po talaga pwedeng, wala naman silang al fresco.
Vismonte adds that the DTI is hoping that Metro Manila will be downgraded to Alert Level 3 starting next week.
Ito po ay talagang batay po ang paglilipat natin from alert level 4 to 3 dito po sa mga nabanggit natin na hospital capacity, ito pong mga cases na nare-report. Sana po ay tumaas po yung kakayahan po ng ating mga hospital na tumanggapan ng mga pasyente para po talaga makalipat po tayo ng alert level.
A day after the pilot implementation of the new quarantine system, a total of 57 areas in the metro have been placed under granular lockdown. DILG Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya said in yesterday's public briefing that these 57 areas are spread out through all LGUs in the metro. He said that LGU personnel and police have been ordered to intensify their enforcement of minimum health standards. This is because of the challenge posed by enforcing new rules across so many more establishments that have been allowed to operate. He added that LGUs have deployed marshals and officers to monitor compliance of establishments with the guidelines as more businesses reopen under the new system. The health department logged over 20,000 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. This brought the total caseload to 2.32 million. Of this number, around 188,000 are still active. 53 duplicates were removed from the total case count, 41 of which are recoveries. 310 died of the virus, bringing the death toll to over 36,000. Now, according to DOH, 176 cases initially tagged as recoveries were reclassified as deaths after further validation. Total recoveries are now at 2.1 million after over 10,000 people recovered from the virus. Meanwhile, 26.6% of those 75,700 tested yielded positive results. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The capital inches closer to herd immunity, leading the private sector to hope for a possible easing to alert level 1 in NCR by the last stretch of the year. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
With vaccination rates improving sharply in Metro Manila, officials are hoping for a major reopening of the economy by next month. According to MMDA Chairman Ben-Hur Abalos, more than 6 out of 10 Metro Manila adults have already gotten their full dose of COVID-19 vaccines. As of September 15, almost 9 out of every 10 Metro Manila adults have already gotten at least one dose, with their second dose expected by mid-October.
Hopefully, with the second dose, we will be hitting 79.3 or almost 80% of all of Metro Manila. That is about 7.8 million. At naka-reserve na yan kay Sec Beans.
Metro Manila mayors are hoping that the rising vaccination numbers would lead to a further easing of restrictions in Metro Manila. The Department of Health earlier hoped to vaccinate at least 70% of the population to hit what is called herd immunity. That's the vaccination level at which the virus would no longer be able to spread efficiently. But the appearance of the more infectious Delta variant forced health officials to aim for a higher goal of 90%. Abalos said NCR could easily hit that number by December.
Halos 90% na tayo. The whole country, ito na pinaka-most vaccinated region. Kaya dito po ginawa itong experiment na ito, itong pilot na ito.
Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion hopes that in the last quarter of 2021, NCR will be placed under Alert Level 1, which allows all establishments to operate at full capacity.
Because this is when our entrepreneurs try to recover all what they've lost in the beginning of the year.
I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News. Okay.
An infectious disease expert says the government aims to vaccinate at least 90% of NCR residents by the end of the year. Speaking to One News, a vaccine expert panel member Dr. Ronchin Solante said the Delta variant has reduced the efficacy of some vaccines. Thus, to achieve herd immunity, the government targets to inoculate at least 90% of the metro's population.
The target is really as high as 90% because the threat of the Delta variant has changed our herd immunity to that level, no? Because the efficacy of some vaccine has been reduced because of the Delta variant. That's why we have to adjust the herd immunity.
Solante added that one of their main goals is to open the economy safely by the end of the year after achieving herd immunity. And he said that with more and more people being vaccinated, the load healthcare facilities will also lighten up.
That's really our objective, no? To vaccinate as many as adults as possible in a short period of time before the end of the year, so that we can also balance that the economy should also slowly open up, because what's really suffering now is the economy. But we should not forget also that our healthcare facility until now is full, and hopefully with more people vaccinated, with less people going to the hospital, then that's something that we are expecting at the end of the year.
One restaurant group is optimistic about the prospects of the food industry in the last quarter of 2021. In an interview with the Chiefs, Resto PH President Eric Teng said he sees a better outlook for restaurants as Christmas months approach. Teng also hopes that more people will dine in restaurants as the vaccination rate in Metro Manila continues to rise.
So for December, you can't take away Christmas. You can't take away the Christmas spirit. That's still, we Filipinos are made for the Christmas spirit. It's all about us. It's all about the lechon. It's all about the noche buena. That's not going to go away. Whether you eat your Christmas feast in the restaurant or we send it to your home, that which depends on what happens in the next few weeks, the next few months. But I'm sure people want to feel good, and they want to do good, and they want to hope.
One health expert warns that the flu season will complicate COVID-19 diagnostics. More details in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Doctor, is flu season already on your radar?
Absolutely. We've been watching influenza cases. There's a little bit more activity this year than we've seen over the past few years. So we really are worried that without public health interventions like we had last fall, that we're going to see a surge of flu cases, and that's going to complicate COVID-19 diagnostics. And it's also a disease that may target younger populations more, because we haven't seen flu in a few years. So it's a complicating issue that we're really keeping an eye on while we keep focused on COVID-19.
All right. So, Andy, as we get focused on trying to get more people vaccinated, there was some news that crossed, including the Pope urging everyone to get a COVID vaccine and the White House making a call to Nicki Minaj after her Twitter post that got a lot of attention that we wouldn't read because it wasn't really fit for morning television. Is this the way to get more people vaccinated?
We have to really go out there and aggressively go after the misinformation and the lack of information. And then we also have to find better ways to communicate to the pockets of population that are probably willing to take the vaccine, but are really just step back and see all of this noise on both sides and are just unclear as to where to go. The science is clear, the safety is clear, the efficacy is clear. Just got to get better at getting the messages delivered correctly to the right populations.
Andy, when you're talking about all the things that are clear, to your point, there's a lot that's unclear, and I think about the booster issue, in particular the FDA meeting for an extensive period today to discuss whether to recommend boosters. Do you think that this debate is premature and muddies the water, or do you think it's important for us to be focusing on this because it will be an important tool?
Well, when it comes to boosters, The one thing that is clear is that the data on boosters say that boosters are safe and boosters do increase the amount of protective antibodies that you have in your system. So no doubt about the safety and efficacy of a booster. What's really in question is the need and the priority of individuals to get a booster. We have to think about this as boosters are going to help reduce severe disease. So if we focus on populations that are vaccinated but starting to see some more severe disease, and the over 65 population is one of those, boosters may be perfectly reasonable for that population, but boosters are not going to help reduce the number of cases in this country because that's driven not by vaccinated people, but by unvaccinated people getting infected.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 10 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.